Arsenal versus PSG, first leg of the Champions League semi-final this Tuesday. Massive game.
Mate.
Like, we haven't really spoken about Arsenal's demolition job on Real Madrid, by the way.
Isn't it?
A complete disaster.
No, it's a complete disaster. I mean, there is now a genuine possibility.
There's a very minority, but quite a loud minority of football fans in this country that don't support Arsenal, but feel like we should get behind them because they're an English team in Europe. I'm like, are you crazy?
I don't know anyone who thinks like that.
That's mental.
I mean, my card's on the table. I'm just desperate. Do you know who I support now? I'm honestly, my entire thing now is basically supporting whoever's playing Arsenal. Like, at the moment, I'm Parisian. I could well end up being like an Inter fan come the end of the season.
Yeah.
Like, also, I think Inter are the governors. I think they're gonna be fine. They're gonna save us. They're gonna save London.
Maybe they do. But Arsenal look fantastic, and this is without Gabriel. Saka's come back, and you wouldn't even know he was injured. So the way Saka's come back, just immediately just got form.
Mate, he's so good.
Considering he was out for like 4 months with a torn hamstring, you see the surgery. He's come in and gone bang. What are the chances of Arsenal getting through in this one?
Huge. They will get through. They will beat
PSG.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm just suis Parisien, but I'm genuinely worried. Like, I'm desperate for Paris Saint-Germain to win, but I'm convinced that Arsenal are going to make it. Arsenal will be going to the final on the 31st of May. Arsenal will be in Munich. Whether they win it is a different question, but I don't see Paris Saint-Germain standing in their way. Arsenal are going to be too strong. There are so many reasons to believe that Arsenal are just going to be too good for Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay, but one of the reasons going against them surely has to be the fact that Partey doesn't play.
Yeah, huge.
That's massive.
Because Partey at the six.
Who comes in? Jorginho?
Jorginho, but I do
that's
think
massive.
I do think that within the Arsenal midfield, look, don't get me wrong, Thomas Partey, there is a reason, particularly in that first game, that Declan Rice got the plaudits and he deserved it. But I think you could easily argue that the best player on the pitch that day was Thomas Partey or Bukayo Saka.
Who allows them to go.
Yeah, I mean,
he allows them to run
every single time that Thomas Partey has played as a 6 for Arsenal, they have looked so much better. Every single time that they have either not played Thomas Partey or played him at right back, it has been an error. He is a sensational player for them, and I actually believe they should be offering him a new contract.
Really? I think
he's irreplaceable.
I think there is a lot of talk about him getting a new 2-year deal.
He's irreplaceable, but the jewel in the crown is Bukayo Saka. And with Bukayo Saka in the team, anything is possible. I cannot believe how good he is. Like, you know when people talk about Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe? Saka is that.
That Real Madrid game, the away leg, showed me that as well. I was like, you're right. The amount of plaudits that we put on the likes of Vinicius Jr.
This is you, not me, but you, yeah.
Yeah, you're right, it's me. Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo. Yeah. And I was watching
average compared to Saka.
Ooh.
Average compared to Saka. I don't want to say this. I don't want this to be true, but this is true. Average. Bukayo Saka is everything that Vinicius Jr. wants to be. Bukayo Saka is everything that you tell me Kylian Mbappe is.
One second. What?
You tell me that Kylian Mbappe best player in the world and all that, and he's not. He's not. He never has been. Kylian Mbappe has never been the best player in the world. Literally never. Everybody's telling me he's the best player in the world when he's not even played in a particularly competitive league.
Oh, sorry, he's fantastic in the World Cup.
Yeah, had a great 90 minutes in a game he ultimately lost. Great 90 minutes, no doubt. Okay. But Bukayo Saka is it.
No,
he is the guy.
I think
and I tell you what, you know when people like slate him a touch for the Panenka, I hate Panenkas, by the way, but that's a different conversation. But what Bukayo Saka did in that game, it was like a microcosm for who he is. He tries to dink the keeper with a Panenka, makes a mistake.
Didn't sink.
Then what does he do?
Yeah.
Half hour later, an hour later, dinks Courtois at the Bernabeu.
Incredible, isn't it?
I mean, most
people would hide after the Panenka nonsense, but he decided we're not going to do that.
He's like the most, you know that like mental fortitude. He's that, isn't he? He has got that like belief, that driven belief. And with Bukayo Saka in the team playing the way that he's playing, I don't see how Paris Saint-Germain stop him.
Anything is possible. Well, let's hear from the Arsenal legend, former Arsenal goalkeeper David Seaman. He was on Drive earlier today, and this is what he said with regards to the big game coming up on Tuesday.
When I was playing, and Arsene Wenger at the start of every season would give us a piece of paper and say, write down in order of preference of what you'd like to win. So all the English lads would go Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup. All the foreign guys would go Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup. And I know for a fact that because I had David Raya on my podcast, and he said, we are desperate to win the Champions League because the club's never won it before.
Yeah.
What scares me is the way that they played at Liverpool in Paris. Yeah. That was like a proper display, and that was against a team that's top of our Premier League, and they ripped him to bits. It's a good job Alisson was on top form.
Yeah.
So that worries me a little bit, but I think that if we play our game, I think we'll be good.
One thing I think really helps, and I'm comparing this to Liverpool against Paris Saint-Germain as opposed to what Arsenal have, is that their fullbacks are rapid. Like Lewis Skelly and Timber are rapid.
Yeah.
But Liverpool fullbacks, unfortunately, Andy Robertson just doesn't really have the legs anymore. And whether it be, even if it's Conor Bradley or Trent, they're not rapid.
No, I agree. I think that the wings, if you think about dominating the flanks, so I think that Arsenal could dominate throughout.
Yeah.
I think that Arsenal's spine is stronger, but I think dominating the flanks is a huge part of the game, right? And somehow keeping Dembele and Kvaratskhelia quiet is going to be a massive part of it. But if you think of the flanks, Timber and Lewis Skelly plus Saka and Martinelli, strong,
mate. That's
because
as good as
also,
it gets.
like Martinelli had some lovely moments in the burner. Like you see when he nutmegged Hendrick, that's huge. And then he obviously got the winner.
Yeah.
And he's not even the point. He's like the other guy. Like it's all about Saka, and yet Martinelli is having those defining contributions.
My one worry for Arsenal, and I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I shouldn't really even worry about them, but that mistake that we saw, which led to Mateta sort of chipping David Raya, I've seen that with Saliba a couple of times this season, where he kind of loses his mind a little bit. Like if you ask Arsenal fans about who's more important, who's been the best defender this season, they'd always point to Gabriel. Saliba will get the plaudits because he plays the silkier football. But I just do feel like that sort of partnership between Gabriel and Saliba being broken up, and Kivior's coming in done fantastic, but they're going to miss Gabriel a lot, I think.
Yeah, of course they are. There's no doubt about that, and I think you're right to highlight the Thomas Partey miss. But ultimately, if you think about look, injuries happen. There are issues, and there will be bookings, and that's what's going to happen. But let's just actually analyse this for what it is. Arsenal are playing a team in a semi-final of Europe, a team that they have already beaten earlier this season. Like people keep telling me, it doesn't matter. PSG are a different team compared to the team that lost 2-0 at the Emirates earlier this year. And yes, I do appreciate that since that game, PSG have gone on to do some incredible things in Europe. Like they've scored 4 goals past Man City. They've eliminated Liverpool. Yeah. They scored a lot of goals past Aston Villa, despite...
Look shaky.
Look a bit shaky at times, but they did still score a lot of goals against Aston Villa. I just think that Arsenal are going to be too strong. I cannot see how London basically doesn't become a no-go zone on the 31st of May. Because Arsenal are going to be in a European final. And it's different. Like, if it's Chelsea in a European final, it's like a pocket of London. So if you're not a Chelsea fan, you go, right, we've got to swerve. So,
everywhere.
Like, London is going to just be... It's going to be on lockdown, isn't it? Arsenal fans are going to be all over the place. It's going to be a nightmare. Because they're going to make it.
Sounds like this is a horror movie.
Who do you think stops them? This is what I need to know.
PSG.
What, you think PSG?
PSG. Second leg at PSG. PSG.
But PSG do have good fans, man. They're really tribal support.
Mate, horrible.
The Boulogne boys.
It isn't like the Madrid fans, which is all nice, isn't it? Tourist.
Yeah.
Those PSG fans.
Yeah, the Boulogne boys. They got a great culture. Stade Ute. I think they've got like 2 ends who oppose one another.
Yes.
But they both love PSG.
And they go against each other.
Yeah, but they love PSG. But I think Arsenal are going to beat PSG, so I need to know. Barca or Inter? Who do I need to win? Because the team that I want to win
I would rather Inter.
Inter more likely to beat Arsenal in a final. Yeah, Inter in the Allianz.
Bit naughty.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.